There's no doubt that Pennsylvania, and really anywhere within a couple hundred miles south and east of the Great Lakes, would be much less cloudy in winter without the lake effect. Last week came a reminder that the lake effect mechanism works its magic all over the world. All you need is cold, dry air moving over a relatively warm and large enough body of water, and nowhere on Earth does this work better than Eastern Asia, where bitterly cold air from China and Siberia frequently empties over the Sea of Japan, which never freezes. The moistened air is then lifted by mountains on the Japanese islands, creating tremendous snows on northern and western slopes. Last week, a snow depth of 515 centimeters, which is almost 17 feet, was measured at the extreme northern part of the island of Honshu, the deepest snow on record at an official weather station in Japan. Unofficially, the snow gets much deeper in the so-called Japanese Alps, a few hundred miles to the south, where a highway through the mountains is cleared year-round, forming a snow canyon that's become a tourist attraction. No wonder that the Winter Olympics have been held twice in Japan, in 1998 not far from these mountains in Nagano, and in 1972 in Sapporo, farther north on Hokkaido Island, where as much as 90% of the snow comes from sea effect. The 2018 Winter Olympics will be in South Korea, which also gets snow from the Sea of Japan. Parts of Europe receive sea effect snow too, but on a smaller scale. The southern shores of the Black Sea get it from time to time, and cold air flowing across the Adriatic Sea occasionally brings a little snow to northern Italy. But it's more common farther north in areas around the Baltic Sea, such as southeastern Sweden and western Lithuania, as cold air flows out of eastern Russia, and also in eastern parts of the UK, as cold air pours out of Scandinavia and across the North Sea. One extreme sea effect snow occurred in January 1987 during one of the most intense cold outbreaks of the 20th century. Some areas east of London got as much as 20 inches of snow. Back across the pond, you often see the lake effect mechanism at work big time over the western Atlantic when an Arctic air mass invades the eastern U.S. As cold air spills out over the relatively warm ocean, huge expanses of clouds form, usually in bands or intricate clumps. On land, folks on Cape Cod occasionally get bay effect snow when cold winds cross Massachusetts Bay from the north, while as recently as last month, persistent north winds down the length of Chesapeake Bay produced snow showers over extreme southeastern Virginia. Even rarer are the ocean effect flurries mentioned in this special weather statement from the National Weather Service in Melbourne, Florida, in January of 2003, when north winds off the Atlantic produced light snow around Cape Canaveral. In the western U.S., the most significant lake effect snowmaker is probably the Great Salt Lake in Utah, though the salt reduces the amount of heating and moistening that the water can provide to the air. Fred is back next with our extended forecast.